And from President Trump's missile defense system, we now move to another contentious area, America's refugee policy. In a fiery Senate Foreign Relations Committee hearing, Secretary of State Marco Rubio faced sharp criticism from Democratic senators over the Trump administration's foreign policy decisions. Now, these included issues ranging from refugee admissions and budget cuts to controversial choices in the Middle East, Latin America, and Eastern Europe. Secretary Rubio, making his first committee appearance since being confirmed, stood firm in defending the administration's decisions. In fact, he claimed, quote unquote, America is back, citing nuclear talks with Iran, tentative peace efforts between Russia and Ukraine, and attempts to end the Israel-Hamas conflict as signs of diplomatic progress. But Democratic senators were far from convinced. In fact, the major flashpoint was the administration's decision to suspend most refugee admissions while allowing a group of 59 white Afrikaners from South Africa to enter under a special refugee program. Senator Tim Kaine led the charge, accusing the administration of racial bias.
The United States has a right to pick and choose who they allow into the United States.
Even based upon the color of somebody's skin?
You're the one that's talking about the color of their skin, not me. These
You're
are people whose farms were being burned down and they were killed because of the color of their skin.
Senator Chris Van Hollen joined in condemning Rubio for creating a system of global apartheid. He also accused the administration of turning away refugees from war-torn nations in Africa and Asia while fast-tracking those from what he called bogus claims of persecution.
And while you've turned away from a genocide in Sudan and invented one in South Africa, you teamed up with President Trump to throw the Ukrainian people under the bus and have been played like a fiddle by Vladimir Putin. Of course, Donald Trump not only said he would end the war in Ukraine on day one, he also said he would end the war in Gaza on day one.
The tensions only deepened when Van Hollen said he regretted supporting Rubio's confirmation despite their decade-long cooperation in Congress.
And I have to tell you directly and personally that I regret voting for you for Secretary of State. I yield back.
Well, first of all, your regret for voting for me confirms I'm doing a good job based on what I know.
Republican support for Rubio, however, was more measured. And while committee chair Senator Jim Risch praised the administration's foreign policy shift and suspending cuts, senior Republicans like Mitch McConnell and Susan Collins warned against slashing foreign aid.
On Millennium Challenge, I think that I saw some reporting out there that it was being imploded. My understanding is the way it's being approached is that it's being reformed but not done away with. It was actually created as an alternative to the way we did aid with USAID. And so there's work happening on both of them. So
Secretary Rubio also addressed the humanitarian crisis in Gaza, saying the U.S. is pressuring Israel to resume aid shipments without resorting to sanctions. He also confirmed that discussions are ongoing with foreign governments about temporarily hosting displaced Palestinians.
Been involved in any discussions related to deporting people from Gaza, Palestinians in Gaza, to Libya?
No, there's no deportation. What we have talked to some nations about is if someone voluntarily and willingly says, I want to go somewhere else for some period of time because I'm sick, because my children need to go to school or what have you.
On Syria, Rubio warned of an imminent collapse of the interim government if U.S. engagement stalls. He reaffirmed the administration's intent to lift sanctions imposed during the Assad regime to support the new leadership.
Good news is that there is a Syrian national identity. It is one of the places in the Middle East where Alawis and Druze and Christians and Sunni and Shia have lived and Kurds have lived alongside each other underneath the banner of a Syrian identity until it was broken by a butcher, Assad, who pitted them against each other. So they face a number of challenges.
And as South Africa's President Cyril Ramaphosa meets with President Donald Trump amid the charged backdrop, one question lingers in the air. When foreign policy becomes personal, who gets to knock on America's door and who is left waiting in the dark?
At Firstpost, we are choosing to hold on to accuracy. That means we won't always be first. We may not get you your breaking alert. But what you will get is what we owe you. And that is the truth. Verified, checked, and cross-checked. We rely on sources and verified ones. After all, that's what separates a journalist from a loudspeaker. But sometimes even we miss a beat. And when we do, we will tell you. Like yesterday, we ran visuals from a registered news agency. That visual turned out to be fake. So we are taking accountability. And from now on, we will cite the source of every visual, every picture, every video that you see on Firstpost will have a source mentioned. That is our commitment to you. We will wait, we will verify, we will ask again, and only then will we tell you. No noise, no panic, just the facts. Because right now, that is what the country needs most.